Hello, and welcome to another segment of There It Is. I am your hostess with the mostest, Sapphire, and the topic of today is mainly for the women. At least I hope it's for the women. Little gay humor there. The topic for today is meant for the ladies, and that topic is your kids or your man. Now, I already know what everybody is going to say because I used to say it myself. You know, oh, hands down, kids first, all the way. And I do agree with that. Up to a certain age. Here's why I say that. I have seen both bad scenarios where the woman was so caught up in her man that he came first in the house. And she had little kids. I'm talking about like school age kids. Okay? Elementary school age kids, maybe I should put it that way. And she cooked better meals for him, separate from the children. She served him first, and you might have heard it and didn't believe it or didn't want to believe it, but it's true. There are some women out there that will actually feed their man steak while their children are stuck with bologna sandwiches. Okay? And I've also saw the bad side of it where the man and the woman really loved each other and wanted to be together. They were happy together. But since the kids didn't get along with them, it tore them apart. So what I'm doing basically is giving you a balance. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because some people just don't know. Okay? When you have a child that you still have to go to parent-teacher conference for, and the situation comes around where, or younger, and the situation comes around where you have to choose between your child or your man, it's best to choose the child because that child needs you. But when it comes to a point where the kids are old enough to date, whether they are dating or not, it doesn't matter. If they're old enough to date and you have to choose between your kids and your man, choose your man. Because the child, number one, doesn't need you as much. Number two, will basically take control of your life. If they know that all they have to do is say that they don't like somebody that you're dating, they're out the door. Guess what? You'll never date again. And The sad part about that is by the time that you can't get anybody to be with you, because word has gotten around that you will always put your kids before your man, and no man wants to hear that. So they're not even going to bother. Here, this same kid that you put your life on hold for has found them somebody, married to him, moved in with him, had a kid or all three. You better not say that you don't like who they decided that they want to wake up to. Because you know what they're going to tell you? Stay out of my life. Stay out of my business. That's between me and my man. And you're going to be thinking, no, this wench didn't. After all the guys that I done put aside, just because she didn't like him, or he didn't like him, and there you'll be, old and alone and with a cat. All because you let other people tell you that you're supposed to put your kids before your man at all times. That's the only part that's wrong, the at all times part. Do not get me wrong. Fellas, I got you too. I love my dad with all my heart. But I had to share him with a number of different women. And few more than most were all right women. And some of them in the crowd I even liked. But there were the ones, and don't think she's not out there, that played up to me and, oh, she's so cute. She looks just like you. Aww, how precious. Then the minute his back was turned, I wish I could get rid of you. Me, I'm thinking, Dad. Don't get involved with her. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do. Do you think he listened to me? No. Do you think he's with any of those women now? Could I have saved him a lot of time and energy and money and heartache had he listened to me? You betcha. But some people have to learn the way they learn. Now, when it came to me, and I had to choose between my children and my man, my man was great to all of us. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with him. But the law put restrictions on him and I being together with the kids involved. So I had to choose. And a time came when my resources were low, and I was going to have to put in some overtime at work. So I asked my in-laws to watch my children in my absence. Well, they suggested that they take them down south, for a little while at least. It's like, okay, give me a chance to feel it out, see if I can be with this man who treated me like gold, and spend time with my children on a part-time basis. Kind of like a win-win. Needless to say, that did not work out. Not between me and my husband, but because at the time that I let them take the kids for at least a year, that's what we agreed on because it was so far away. So I was miserable. Keep in mind, I had neither my man nor my children. So I realized I could not live without my kids. As much as I would hate to, but could in fact live without my husband. So I did everything I could to get him back. It didn't work, but it didn't stop me from trying. So let's fast forward to about a decade. My oldest child, not quite grown, but getting there. I was with a different man. She didn't like him. Was she right? Yeah, but not based on her own experience with him, only based on what she heard from other people who had been around him. And this is what I was explaining to her. I said, do not pass judgment on what you have heard other people say. Not even me. You form your own opinion. So she told me that she would love to live with me, but he couldn't be here. He couldn't live with me, with her. I told her, fine, stay where you're at. I know y'all thinking, Alaina, that's mean. Okay, yeah, that's my real name. But truth is, you got to draw the line. And at that point in time, I was very happy with him. He was my best friend. He was my lover. He was my confidant. He was my advisor. And I couldn't even really have a good time, or as good a time, going out with my girls, and hanging out with them, ladies' night out, all that good stuff, without bringing him along. Because he would crack a joke in a minute. And he always kept me laughing. So, as long as the guy was making me feel good, and at this point she was at dating age, and probably trying to do some dating, that is. I wasn't going to let my child, or any of them for that matter, run my life. For what? You're only going to be here for another year or two, and then you're going to be out on your own, doing your own thing. And where am I going to be? Sitting here lonely, miserable, and resentful. I'm not going to do it. So, like I said, it didn't work out between me and him anyway. But had I said, okay, well, honey, you know I love you. And you know I've been trying to get my daughter home, right? Well, she wants to come home now, but here's the thing, you can't live with me. We can still date though, as long as she doesn't know. What? You just got to draw the line somewhere, okay? And that's where I drew it. So, unless that child does not feel safe around that man, and you have had some suspicions, because trust me, it's not going to get completely by you. If your child doesn't trust your man, and you have some suspicions about his behavior around that child, take the child's word. Choose the child. But if that's not the case, honey, live your life. If those children, like I said, are old enough to date, we talking about middle school on up, and they got a problem with your man, sit down with both of them and work it out. But if the child is younger than that, they still need you. And yeah, the man gotta go. That's my story. That's my experience. That's my opinion. And there it is.